What's going on there, YouTube, and welcome back to another comic book video. Okay, so we are going to continue our coverage over Ultimate Marvel Team Up. Matter of fact, we're going to jump into the last story of this entire series, where it is Spider-Man meeting Shang Chi for the first time in the Ultimate Marvel universe. Now remember, we got this series right after the first story arc of Ultimate Spider-Man in the early 2000s, in the early days of the original Ultimate Marvel universe. I kind of have to say that now because Jonathan Hickman is giving us a new Ultimate Marvel universe. Either way though, when it comes to the old one, in the early days after the first story arc of Ultimate Spider-Man, we got this series right here to kind of help us to explore the brand new universe at that time. Now we use Spider-Man as a way to meet these other characters like Iron Man, Punisher, Hulk, Wolverine, and the list goes on and on and on. Either way, in this story arc, today's video, we're going to see Spider-Man meeting Shang-Chi for the first time in the Ultimate Marvel universe. Now the first couple pages really does come from a Chinese folktale where you do have a young prince who is trying to walk away from his father's empire, trying to find land where his father does not rule over. Now the young prince is currently being followed or being watched over by a spider, and so you have the spider ask the young prince, why in the world are you trying to walk away from your father's empire? Because sooner or later, all this land will belong to you. But the young prince says he does not want the land that his father has. And so he's trying his best to move on from what his father had built. Now the first couple pages, we do pick up with a character known as Liko. And when it comes to Liko, she just arrived in Chinatown in New York. Now when she does arrive, at first, she's trying her best to take in what she sees when it comes to this particular area. Now as soon as she arrives and get a good look around, that is when her aunt calls out her name. And of course, it tells us that she is going to stay with her aunt. Unfortunately, before she is able to make it over to where her aunt is at, that is when you have some thugs run by, grab her purse, and try to get away from her. Now, luckily for her, you do have Shang Chi, who is nearby, basically being able to use the different fighting styles that he had learned over the years to kind of help her out by taking out the thugs, but to also get her purse back. Now, once he does all of that right there, she begins to wonder who that guy was who just used different kinds of fighting styles. Unfortunately, when it comes to her aunt, she's kind of like, no. Do not worry about him at all. Matter of fact, get inside the store right now. Now, when it comes to Shang-Chi, we do learn that he is currently working at some kind of shop that sells fishes, but apparently Liko's aunt and the shop owner that Shang-Chi is working for, they're all trying their best to kind of keep the true identity of Shang-Chi a secret. They're afraid of the idea of the world finding out who he truly is. But again, when it comes to Liko, she wants to know, but aunt says no. You will not know, and matter of fact, get in the house right now before anything else happens to you. But getting back over to the Chinese folktale, we do pick up with the spider who is still currently watching over the young prince. Now, when it comes to the young prince, he does tell the spider that when he does reach new land, he wants to make sure once again, this land is not being ruled over by his father. But everything he will earn on that new land will be done with him being a great man rather than a prince. And it's him saying that if he goes somewhere as a prince, most likely people are going to give him everything he needs to survive. He doesn't want that. Instead, he wants to go to a new land where he's not a prince, that he is just a regular man trying to earn his way in life. But then we finally pick up with Spider-Man and Mary Jane, where you have the two characters in Chinatown just, having their own kind of discussions. Now, as they're walking in Chinatown, they do see Shang-Chi currently surrounded by a bunch of thugs who are still very upset with what he did earlier, because we come to find out that there is a gang in Chinatown that apparently Shang-Chi has been stopping left and right. And so they're getting tired of the idea of him messing up all their different kinds of operations. Either way, when it comes to Peter Parker, Mary Jane, and they see him being surrounded, Shang Chi, you have Peter freak out, run off to change into his Spider-Man outfit to hopefully help out Shang Chi. Except by the time he gets over there, well, Shang Chi is able to take down every single thug that was there trying to jump him. And so for Peter Parker, who's now Spider-Man, this is a very awkward moment because literally as soon as he arrives, the fight just ends right there. And you have our two heroes look at each other like, oh, hi. And for Peter's like, okay, I'm gonna leave now. Clearly, you did not need my help at all. And Mary Jane knows that Shang-Chi doing that right there is gonna have Peter Parker very upset. He is going to whine about this situation right here for an entire month. Now, also in the same section, we do see that Lyko just watched Shang-Chi fight against a group of thugs. And so now she's kind of, being that mysterious character for unknown reasons. Like, why does she want to know so much about Shang-Chi? And so once again, you do have Lyko ask her aunt one more time, like, hey, auntie, are you for sure you have no idea who that guy is? Now, when it comes to her aunt, she does tell Lyko, like, no, I do not remember his name. But the reason why I don't want you near him at all is because he's the only person who is currently going up against a gang in this area that is trying to take over this area. I don't want my niece, which is you, in the middle of their battles because I feel like sooner or later he is going to die, Shang-Chi, because he is the only person who is going up against a gang by himself. He is literally going to die. I don't want you anywhere near him at all. Now, as soon as the conversation is done, that is when you have Lyko say, oh, he's Shang-Chi. I found him very easily. And with her saying that right there, we're kind of left to believe that apparently she was hired to find Shang-Chi. And so now she must tell her employer that she was able to find the person that she was hired to look for. But getting back over to the Chinese folktale, we do pick up this time with the king. Now, when it comes to the king, he had hired a great warrior to go after his son, the prince who had walked away from the empire. Now, when it comes to the king, he does tell the great warrior, listen, I need you to find my son because with him leaving my empire and not deciding to stay here and take over as soon as my time to leave this earth, it became a huge embarrassment to my entire family. So you need to go find him and bring him back here for punishment. Now, when it comes to the great warrior, he does ask the king, what if the prince does not want to come back so easily? And so you have the king tell the warrior, do what you must to bring him back here. He may come back broken, but he must come back alive because what he did was hugely a mistake, an embarrassment to the entire family. But as we jump into the second chapter, we do pick up with the folktale once again, where you still have the spider very confused about why the young prince wants to walk away from his father's empire. And so you have the young prince once again say that I want to find land that my father does not rule over. Now the spider is confused because the king have gave the prince so much love. The king has so much money. The king is giving the prince a great future. But again, the prince is not telling the spider the true reason why he is walking away from his father's empire. But then we pick up with Lyko, who is currently meeting up with the gang who have been fighting against Shang-Chi in Chinatown. Now, the reason why she's meeting up with this gang is to use them as a way to complete the job that she was hired to do. Because we kind of find out that Shang-Chi's father is actually a huge crime lord, and he was very upset about the idea of his son walking away from the future that he has set up for his son. And so he had hired Lyco to find Shang Chi and bring Shang Chi back over to him. Now here's the thing, because she realized that if Shang Chi is one of the best fighters in the world, most likely the best fighter in the world, then here's the thing, the gang needs a plan to actually bring him down. And so she says, I've been watching you guys, and the problem is you guys try to attack him one-on-one or with small numbers. This man is a great fighter, probably the best fighter in the entire world. But the thing is, if you want to be able to bring him down, you have to do things differently. And what she means by that is attack him all at once, but with a higher number of people. Stop going at him with 3 or 4 or 5 people. Go at him with 15, 20, 25 people. Heck, bring your entire gang down on him. And once you're able to do that, bring him over to me, and I'll tell my boss, who will then give you a huge nice surprise, a nice place you can use to kind of expand your horizon or expand your operations in other areas of New York. So why not help me so I can help you? And so you have the gang agree to help Lyco go after Shang Chi. Now we do pick up with Spider-Man and Mary Jane, where you do have Spider-Man being very upset about the idea that he went out of his way to change into his Spider-Man outfit to help Shang-Chi earlier, to only arrive when the battle was already over. And so, of course, he's still very upset about that. But at the same time, he was also very impressed on how Shang-Chi was fighting against those different gang members. And so this is Spider-Man telling Mary Jane that he believes that he should become a better fighter. If he was a better fighter, then when he's out there being Spider-Man, he will be able to take down more enemies very quickly. And so with that being said, you have Mary Jane say, hey, go ahead and ask him, pay him $20, and let's see if he'll be able to teach you some moves. But when you go and talk to him, don't go as Peter Parker, go as Spider-Man. And you have Peter agree this is a good idea, and so he leaves to go learn some moves from Shang-Chi. But getting back over to Shang-Chi, you have Shang-Chi be confronted by his boss, the shop owner, where you have the shop owner tell Shang-Chi, hey, I just got word that your father knows that you are alive and you are in New York. And matter of fact, there's a lot of money on your head right now, which means different kind of guys or different gang members might come to my shop and try to get to you to get that prize money. Unfortunately, I have to let you go as a way to protect myself, but to also protect my shop and protect my family as well. And so you have the boss say, get the heck out of here. I'm sorry. I'm going to miss you, but I gotta make sure I stay alive. And Shang-Chi understands, like, hey, you know what? Protect you, protect your family, protect your shop. I will be able to protect myself. But getting back over to the folktale, we do pick up once again with the young prince, except this time the young prince is surrounded by a bunch of warriors who are planning on killing him off or to bring him back over to his father for punishment for leaving the empire. And this kind of shows what's happening in the real world when it comes to Shang-Chi, who left his father's empire behind. His dad was a crime lord who was trying to pass over the business over to Shang-Chi, but unfortunately he walked away from the family and the business. And so in the real world, it's happening right now where you have Shang-Chi trying to find somewhere else to go and hide, and he is surrounded by a bunch of different gang members who got word on who he is, but also the idea that if they're able to bring him in, they'll get a whole lot of money. And so we jump into Shang-Chi trying his best to fight against all the different gang members that were basically brought in to take him out or to bring him back over to his father. Now, like Lyco said earlier, the reason why the gang has been failing when it came to stopping Shang-Chi is because they attack him with low numbers. Why not go into the whole army to bring him down? And so we see a huge amount of gang members attacking him all at once. And unfortunately, he's having a hard time trying to win this fight. And at first, it may look like that he might win, but then again, the number is too high. There's too many people right now coming at him all at once. Now, luckily for him, Spider-Man does arrive. And when Spider-Man does arrive, is him being able to help out Shang Chi fight against all these different guys. And once you have our two heroes being able to take out most of the gang, you have Spider-Man grab Shang Chi and they get the heck out of there. Now, Shang Chi is very confused about the idea of why Spider-Man keeps popping up left and right, and now especially this time. And so you have Spider-Man tell Shang Chi the reason why he's here this time is because he was hoping that Shang Chi could teach him some, some different kind of moves that he could use that could make him a better superhero. Now, when it comes to Shang Chi, he does kind of feel like he owes Peter Parker because technically Peter did just save his butt from all those different gang members. And so he does show Peter Parker one particular move. And that's literally it. He says, unfortunately, I cannot show you anything else. But on top of that, I have to disappear now because there are a lot of men who are currently looking for me. And so thank you once again for helping me. But again, I must go. And so that technically is the ending for today's video. And so with that being said, guys, please leave me a like down below and subscribe. But guys, see y'all next time. Later.